Hey guys, welcome back to what could be the final Mustang Monday. I have got PJ, my man Jeffers here, who owns MOStangs, which is probably, well, it's the biggest Mustang group in Missouri.
Yep.
And so, welcome aboard.
Well, and you say biggest. I've never really went by numbers. I've always just said that we're the best because I think we have some of the best people in the state of Missouri as far as just getting on there and making comments and sharing information, because that's kind of what we're all in this for, is to learn from each other.
Yeah. And MOStangs, unlike a lot of other car clubs, first of all, you said it's the best, but it's almost as much of a forum as it is like a car club or like a group.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if there's anything that I have ever had a question with, MOStangs group is the first place I always go to post it, because I mean, everybody's got everything from the 64.5 all the way up to the 2022 GT500. There's everything in between.
Yeah, and that's funny because some groups you get into, and I'm a part of those groups too, where you just have a specific car, and those are nice, but to kind of have everything, every Mustang, where you can just throw out a question, it's really, I don't know, it's just kind of nice, and it's also, it kind of makes you feel included. You can go and ask a question and not have a bunch of people harping down your neck. We've never been about that, and I think that's kind of what makes us a little bit different from what's out there on social media, because you can really get beat up in some places asking questions, and if you're a first-time Mustang owner, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to go to a place and you're kind of feeling vulnerable about asking a question anyways, and so it's nice. It is, and we've kept it that way for that reason. So is that the reason that you started MOStangs originally? Yeah, it was. I was actually in a couple of those old, internet groups, and there was always I always saw a lot of people from Missouri in some of those groups, and there was a couple of friends that were local that were like, there's this group and that group, and they were kind of like more like car clubs, and that's kind of the thing that's kind of went away over the past several years, is the physical car club mentality, or just an actual physical place where you can go meet up. There's a lot of events, but it seems like some of the car clubs have gone away, and more of it's kind of moved online. So me and two other guys just kind of said, hey, let's put something together and see what happens, but run it in a way to where people can come and ask questions, and we've kind of either vetted certain businesses, or we've had personal experience. So
how many people do you think are in MOStangs right now? I'm sure you've got a round number in your head.
So I think we're, membership wise, it says we're at like 3,400 with a Mustang and from the state of Missouri. Now we have a couple that maybe have been in the military and moved, or we have we have a lot of people who may have sold their Mustangs. I've had people ask me that question before. Can I sell my Mustang and still be in the group? Absolutely, because you've had their experiences, and it's nice to have those people to be able to share those. So don't ever feel like you have to leave the group.
Well, especially a lot of the guys who might not have a Mustang right now, they still have a wealth of knowledge that they can pass on, especially for people who
because everybody has a different chapter in their life, where they've got to move on, and where they have something and they've got to move on to something else, and that might require them not having a Mustang for a while. We've got several members that have been very integral in our development, in our growth, and have left the Mustang scene, but kind of stuck around to put their input in. And that shift sounded good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen to that exhaust.
You've got a very lovely back road here that
it's nice.
Frequent down, and it's great for just a good old back road cruise.
Yeah, it's nice.
How many Mustangs have you owned in your many years?
And it hasn't really been that many years. I think I only started buying Mustangs it's been a little bit over 10 years ago, and it's kind of one of those things, you get your kids raised, and you kind of want to start doing, making adult decisions, I guess, or maybe that's backwards, I don't know. But, and I wanted my kids to still experience, having Mustangs. So I traded my first car for a Mustang. Kind of an interesting story. The old man had an oxygen tank when he parked next to me and got out with it. And I'm like, I bet he was probably 90 at the time.
Wow.
And he could barely form a sentence. He was an oxygen. He wasn't doing very well, and that was the reason why he wanted to get rid of the Mustang. Plus, it had a stage 2. It had a heavy clutch in it, and his wife was right next to him. She was about in the same condition, and I'm like, wow, these people are serious Mustang people. So we ended up doing a trade, and I still remember he took the oxygen mask off, and he looked me dead in the eye. He goes, young man, he goes, the only thing I want you to do is lay the nastiest burnout in my driveway here before you leave. And we're talking like close houses, residential neighborhood, lots of people outside, barbecuing and having their day. And here I am in this 95 GT bouncing off the rev limiter, laying the biggest, nastiest burnout I could down this neighborhood. And
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, that's kind of my first Mustang story. But yeah, I've had several since then, and it's been great. It's kind of, you get stuck on certain models, but then you start gravitating to some of the new ones. If you guys know, I had a S550 Mustang for my last Mustang, and what a neat platform. It was the EcoBoost, good gas mileage, drove great, had all the amenities, but in the end, it was more car than it was Mustang, and so I had to have something different.
So what's your favorite Mustang so far that you've owned?
I would have to say my 2004 Mach 1. It was another one of those cars that had a little bit of a story, had some good background history on it. I got in touch with some of those people and got to hear some of that. Crowder cams, it was one of their first cars. They had stage 3 nitrous cams in it. So it had just a nasty chop to it. Yeah, it was just a fantastic car. Low miles, red, which of course is my favorite Mustang color. But yeah, sweet car.
Some might call you the Godfather of Mustangs.
Which I'm not.
My son now tells me you're interested in joining my organization.
Yes, sir. I think cars are just the bomb, especially Mustangs. Mustangs are really neato. I like car shows with lots of Mustangs.
The bomb? Nito? What generation were you pulled out of? Why should I allow you into my organization?
Well, I'm a really nice guy, and I know everything there is to know about Mustangs. I have a really swell Mustang finished in jet black with a orange stripe up the middle. It's got a 5.0 liter Coyote engine with 420 horsepower at the crank, 390 foot-pounds of torque, a 6-speed manual transmission that makes you feel alive, Borla exhaust with Nitto tires.
Shut up! I mean, what do you have to offer me? To obtain something he wants, for example, membership in my organization, a man must be willing to give up something of great value to him personally. Now, what do you do to possess that is all of great value? Think of what means most to you.
You mean my wife? My son? You don't mean. You can't mean. My Mustang? No! How could I be a member of your car club without a car?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. I will make it possible for you to have contact with some of the most beautiful automobiles from my own personal collection.
You mean I get to drive some of your cars?
The beach never breaks a promise. You will be inside some of the most rare and exotic automobiles ever produced. Now, do you have the documents?
Yes, sir. It's right here.
I believe you know where to sign.
And when can I have contact with your cars?
You be at my estate tomorrow at 3 p.m. and I'll give you so much contact with my collection that you will be bored to death of other cars.
Oh, I doubt that, sir. I'll see you tomorrow.
there's one born every minute.
Hey, Mr. The Peach, when does the driving start? We may have disclosed a little bit in the intro part of this video, but why in particular are you here? Why are you in this car with me?
Well, to buy this car right here. This car is going home for me today because it has story, it has pizzazz, and I have always wanted a 13 and 14 GT. So this is kind of one of those little bucket list click-offs for me, is to have a Coyote car, and I'm excited about it. Really am. I mean, listen to that exhaust. It sounds fantastic. It's fantastic.
Can't argue with him. It sounds pretty good. But wait a second. This isn't even my car anymore. I shouldn't even be driving this thing.
What in the world? Well, we better switch that up.
We better switch it up.
It drives so nice.
This is, I think I may have ridden in this passenger seat one other time when it was still back with my dad. This will be a new experience. We get the butt dyno dialed in.
Yeah, you get the butt dyno dialed in. Well, and you get the new feel of the seats, because there's probably not very many people that sat in that seat. It feels kind of new to me.
The back seats, one person sat in the back seats since I've owned it. I know that you are probably already have been ordering parts for this thing. What are you going to do to it?
I've at least been building a wish list.
Yeah, first thing you do every time you buy a car, you gotta build a wish list.
There's, it's probably going to be some just aesthetic stuff to begin with to kind of get my eyes on the car. Maybe we talked about, maybe a shift knob, or maybe paint the brake calipers, or do some things like that. But under the hood is probably where I'm going to wait a little while, because I want to see how the car drives and feels. But definitely I've got some UPR hookups, so might do some things there with suspension as well.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited. The platform on these cars is huge for parts right now.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in Mustangs in general, LMR is a fantastic company. And you get on there and check out their page. They just have got so much for these cars. Jay Walling, fantastic guy. And yeah, it's endless what I could do this car, but you have done a good job of getting it to the level it is right now. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you. If you've seen the video build series on our channel of this car, I can link it up here. You want to go click and watch it. There was quite a few LMR boxes whenever we did it.
Yep.
Things like like if you want something that's like, my favorite thing to do on cars is do the OEM Plus look. So I got like Roush grill, I got GT500 lower grill, I did the GT California Special fog lights.
Mm-hmm.
So building the car as it would have been had you designed it yourself with OEM parts, and not making it look like it was done in somebody's
backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make your Mustang the way you want to, but sometimes you can go over the top with certain things. So.
And also, if you get a new shifter knob, you're going to love it, especially for summertime, because that's an aluminum one, which will. You've seen the scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, whenever the guy holds his hand up and he's got the. That's what that shift pattern does.
You see the guys.
In the summertime.
You see the guys at car shows. Sometimes they'll have a little bag over it to keep them from getting burned. Yeah, my Mach was like that. I'm kind of used to it. You like have the first, second, third reverse on your hand.
So yes, indeed, this is the final Mustang Monday with this the 2013 GT rebuild at Mustang. I've had this car for 4 years-ish or whatever, which is actually the longest I've ever owned a car.
That's like a lifetime for me.
Yeah, that's a long time. I usually keep them about a max of 2 years, and then I move on to something else. But this car was really special for being the first car that I got to rebuild with Dad. We did a couple other projects on the channel before that, but I wasn't actively involved in the rebuilding process. Whereas this one, I was there. Almost every video. We were ordering parts. I paid for the thing because obviously it was my car. But yeah, so I definitely could not have sold it to anybody who would be a better fit for this car, that would have treated it the way that I would want, the next person to have the car to do it. And so that's one of the main reasons I was able to sell it and move on to something new and something hopefully a little bit more collectible, I think, is where I'm heading next. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'm excited for that.
But yeah, definitely, I couldn't have sold anybody better than PJ. So that's why it's come time to do it, and I think it's time to move on to something else. And I'm excited to see what's next, because I don't even know. It's all going to be up to who wrecks their car next. I think it depends on what I can find. So
that's a great way to put it.
I'm checking Copart and IAA pretty frequently, but I'm not chomping at the bit. I want to find the car that's going to be the one I'm going to keep for the next probably 5 to 10 years. Something that my son's going to be able to enjoy and ride in, and because my day job, I get to work from home, and so I put 1,500 miles in this car in the last probably 2 years. I just don't ever drive it, and so definitely having something that's going to be a little more collectible, where I'm not going to have to worry about putting a ton of miles on it, but it will continue to appreciate in value and that kind of stuff. So that's what's next for me. Your guys are going to be able to see a new rebuild on the channel coming up probably next Saturday, and our buddy Paul's going to be in that one, which he's always a blast to have, because he's loud and unashamedly there for a fun time. So thanks you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the thumbs up down below, and make sure you subscribe so you can catch the next videos, and at some point my new car. See you guys later. And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.